everybody, and welcome back to another episode of GameSpark. Today is episode 6, and I am here with Jordache! I'm so grateful that he has taken the time out of his busy schedule to talk to me. So, Jordache, if you would introduce yourself, please.
Hi, Suze Grace. I'm thankful for you taking time out of your busy mom schedule to talk to me.
That's okay. My husband is putting the girls to bed right now, so.
That is true. That's true. My name is Jordan. It's online. I am Jordache Paco, which has been my gamer tag forever and ever. And I am excited to be here. Excited to be here with you and to chat a bit. I like this show.
Oh, I'm so glad. Glad.
I should say I've listened to everybody.
Uh-huh.
And I will say one of the funnest things about the part of your community and then watching these is that no one looks how I expect them to look.
I know, right? It's a big surprise.
No one looks how they I expect them to look a certain way. It was the Basically Dad?
Yeah.
Last one?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know what I thought Basically Dad looked like.
Listen, I feel the same way because I'm meeting some of these people face to face for the first time as well. So you are not alone in that. I'm never really sure like what I'm going to get, you know? You never know. Jordache has been a member of my Twitch community for a really long time, and I think he's pretty great. So I'm very excited to chat about games. So Let's get down to our first question. First question is, what is your earliest gaming memory?
The earliest memories I feel like are a weird concoction of Duck Hunt and Super Mario and Mario Kart.
Okay.
It's sort of this weird thing, but the most clear one I have is me as a kid. We had a family Super Nintendo Entertainment System, SNES, and me and my sisters would play Super Mario, and we would play Mario Kart. And we also, I think our Super Nintendo came with Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past.
Ugh.
I'm pretty sure. So I, at one time in my life, had a Super Nintendo cartridge of that game, but my parents would not allow me to play it. I was not allowed to play that game.
Why?
For I think silly religious reasons. So there was some weird
magic kind of.
Yeah. So I feel like I snuck. I know I snuck played the game a little bit.
Yeah.
Because the memories came back to me much later when I tried to play the game. I'm like, I remember this death screen where he like spins around and falls over dead.
Yes.
And I randomly remember the guy at the bottom of the castle with the big ball and chain. It's like the first thing you fight.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
And so at some point, because I played those, I'm like, I remember these.
Yeah.
I remember this part of the game, but I'd forgotten. So apparently I snuck some Zelda when I was a kid, but I never got much further than that. But yeah, so standard Nintendo, Mario Kart.
Have you ever beaten Link to the Past?
I don't think I did.
Okay.
I think I got pretty far into it. I think I got like a little kick, and I had a friend who was big in the game and wanted me to finish it. And as long as he encouraged me to play, I did. This has been a while. But no, the only Zelda game I ever beat was Ocarina of Time.
Really? I don't think I knew that.
Yeah, I don't know if I've told you that before or not. I'm not.
You're not a diehard
Zelda. Big Zelda. Right.
That's okay.
But if my dear mother and father had let me play that game when I was a wee lad, maybe I would be crying at the end of maybe I would be weeping at the end of all the Zelda games too.
Oh my gosh.
Like Susie does.
Oh my gosh. I couldn't handle it. I was not ready.
So great. So
I thought I was ready. I was not ready. Oh my gosh.
So great.
Well, listen, I love Zelda, but I cannot fault other people for not having the same interests. There are plenty of games to go around. Zelda does not scratch that itch for everybody, and that's totally fine. But you snuck some of it, so
I did. I did.
Do you think you snuck some of it because you liked it, or because your parents were like, you can't play this game?
I bet it was a little bit of both, but probably because I liked it.
Yeah. Okay.
Honestly.
Okay.
Honestly. Yeah, I've always liked the fantasy aesthetic, and so it was this sword and sorcery thing, which I have always liked, so I would have been into that.
Okay.
So I think that probably drew me in.
Darn those parents.
Yeah, darn it.
Looking
I bet
out
that
for
cartridge is like in a dump somewhere. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Do you remember how old you were? Like when do you feel like these memories were?
I was probably 6 years old.
Okay.
So we lived there when I was between 5 and 7. So somewhere in there.
Okay. So those are your earliest gaming memories. I love that.
It's my earliest ones, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so my next question is, what was, if you can remember, what was your spark game that really got you into gaming?
Yeah, I was working on my notes for this, and it's weird because I liked games before the Pokemon craze came to America.
So did I.
I feel like,
I've never played a Pokemon game.
I know. I remember seeing this. You and me are, I don't want to presume how old you are. I feel like we're close to the same age.
I think that's fair.
I was in like 4th grade whenever it blew up.
Yeah.
When it was like insane. As I was a kid, like it was everywhere.
Yes. I remember those days.
Yeah.
I didn't understand
it was nuts.
Yeah, I didn't get it.
Well, I played them. I got into them as much as everybody else did. I have not continued as an adult. So many people have, but I loved the first games. I still think they hold up. I think you would like to play the first games.
Okay, what color are we talking about? Because there's like Pokemon
they're all
red
the same
and yellow,
game.
and
they're all the same.
that's what I've been told. You play one, you've played them all.
Yeah. So I started with yellow.
Okay.
But if I had started with red, it would have been the exact same experience.
Okay.
So I played those, and then I played the sequels. And it was the first RPG type game I got into, and I was playing some others with some other friends, and so that sparked my like taste in games, I would say.
Okay.
Because it's turn-based,
you do like
RPG.
your turn-based games. You're always complaining about that. If it's not turn-based, you're like,
complain. Yeah, I know.
That's okay.
I know. You're not the only friend of mine who says this to me. I know.
I'm aware.
But I'm aware.
It's all right. We all have our passions. We all have things we love.
Right.
It's totally fine.
That's right.
Totally fine.
But yeah,
okay.
I got into the Pokemon games when I was 9 years old, and I enjoyed them. I played the crap out of them.
I mean, kind of. I guess you haven't continued it, but
I did try to play Sword. Was it Sword and Shield?
I don't know.
The one that came out for Switch, because it had been forever. I'm like, I'll try this, and I absolutely hated it. So I'm like, nope.
Okay. The taste did not last.
Did not last.
A lot
of people's has, but not.
Yeah. It's
Gen 1, Gen 2 is all I played.
All right.
And I like those.
I never would guess that. See? I'm already learning. I'm already learning. Here's my next question. What was the very first game you beat all by yourself?
I think I beat. I originally was gonna put Pokemon again because I beat them over and over again. I think I beat Super Mario World by myself in Little Winchester, Kentucky, when I was like 8. Or no. This would have been earlier than that. I don't know. I feel like I beat that game.
Okay.
I may have not beat that game, but I feel like I did.
I did.
I feel like I remember getting to Bowser and it being like, holy crap, there he is.
Okay, Super Mario World. I get all the Marios mixed up. Super Mario World is the one where like you had Yoshi and you had like the cape. I mean, I love that one, but I can't ever remember what they're called because
it's Super Mario Brothers, Super Mario World.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Where he's like flying around the castle on the map, right? You can see him up there flying around the castle on the map. Okay.
So, yeah. So 3 is the one with the raccoon, and this one is the one with the cape.
Okay, got it.
Yoshi.
I do love that game. I just, like I said, I couldn't remember exactly what it was called. That was the very first game. You are positive that you beat that game.
I feel like I did. I feel like I remember it. I feel like I just feel like I remember it. If I didn't, then it's Pokemon again.
That's okay. That's fine.
It's the same answer. But I don't know. I feel like I did. But I don't know. I do vividly remember beating the Pokemon games for the first time.
Okay.
And then I started them again, and I played them again, and that's what you did.
How many times do you think you've played through those Pokemon games?
Oh, gosh. I don't know.
We've lost count.
I mean, it's been a long time since I played them anyway. But I played them 4th grade, 5th grade, mostly through middle school.
The same ones over and over and over again?
Oh, Gen 2 came out when I was in middle school.
Oh, okay.
So like the second generation of games, and then I didn't play Gen 3.
Okay.
The original director of those games only stuck around for the first 2 games.
Oh,
so
okay. That does
I didn't know
make
anything
sense.
about that when I was a kid.
Yeah.
But I didn't continue on, so I don't know.
What are, and I know this is a hard one, what are your top 5 video games of all time?
Top 5 video games of all time.
Are these in any particular order?
I will go from I do 5 to 1.
Okay.
I really like making lists.
Okay.
If you
Drum
look
roll.
at any of my movie stuff, I love making lists.
Okay.
So number 5 for me is Fable 2. If you ever played the Fable games, I love them.
I've never even heard of Fable.
So Fable it's sort of a fantasy action RPG / it tries to be life sim sort of.
Okay.
So you live an entire life of your character. You can I like going around and like owning all the businesses, so I get a bunch of money every month. You can walk up to a random person and do your weird emotes to them, and then you marry them, and
yay!
You have a family with them, and it weaves all this into the narrative. And I've always loved Fable 2. Fable 2 is probably the best of them, although there is a new Fable coming out sometime next year.
What console is it on?
It was always an Xbox exclusive.
Oh, okay, that's why. Because we never owned an Xbox. So
yeah, see, I was 360 in high school, so I had Xbox, so we played Fable.
Okay,
yeah.
Well, that would make sense then. That answers my question then.
Yeah.
I'm like, why have I never heard of this? Okay, Fable 2. I'll have to
Fable
look that one
2.
up.
Yeah, it's good. I think it's on Game Pass right now.
Okay.
Final Fantasy 7.
Oh, it did make it on your list.
Oh, yes.
Oh, I'm so happy.
Yes. Yes. Love 7.
7's great. I think that's the first time I
7.
cried in a video game was in 7.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah. It was rough.
I remember when I had to be high school, and it was a snow day, and I got up because like we're off school. I'm like, cool, I'm gonna play Final Fantasy 7. And apparently through the day we had like a snowstorm and a blizzard, and I went outside at the end of the day. There was like snow this like, super high, and I'm like, I didn't see any of that because I was playing Final Fantasy 7.
Tunnel vision.
Yeah.
It's a good way to spend a snow day.
Yeah. And when you're a kid, you don't feel guilty about doing that all day like I do
know.
as an adult. Yeah, that's a bad part about being an adult.
Yeah. Final Fantasy 7, excellent.
Final Fantasy 7. Yeah, okay. I have Pokemon Gen 2.
As number 3? Okay.
I feel like I might want to switch those two now, but I don't know.
Oh wait, so you're saying Final Fantasy 7 gets bumped up.
I think maybe.
Oh, interesting. Okay. It's all right. It's okay.
Yeah. So, but anyway, Gen 2, so that's gold and silver.
Okay.
And they're great sequels. Mm-hmm. The sequels, if you so many games have bad sequels, but these sequels are great. I think it's one of the best sequels ever, and I had a lot of fun with them as a kid. So nostalgia all the way. Number 2 is Final Fantasy 9.
Final Fantasy 9.
Final Fantasy
I haven't
9
finished
love.
yet.
I like how charming 9 is.
Mm-hmm.
The characters are my favorite characters in the series. Like the group itself, like the party dynamic, is my favorite group of characters in that era of the games. 7 is very, very close, but I don't know. It's a little bit more fun. I would say it doesn't take itself as seriously as 7 does.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It still has Vivi is a great character.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
His arc is fantastic. The little black mage.
Yeah.
And it went. And also, it appeals to me because the whole appeal of the game was we're going back to the old school. We're gonna bring back the sort of Final Fantasy VI, Final Fantasy V feel, but put it in this modern version of our games. So I'm like, heck yeah. So I was like the perfect target audience for that. Love 9. 9 is my favorite Final Fantasy. It's
the best.
It's a PS1 game. It came out right before the PS2 launched.
Yeah.
And it like pushes the hardware crazy far.
Yes.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It looks really good.
Yeah, it does. It does. All right, number 1.
Number 1, we'll come back on some of your other questions, but it is a game called Grandia. I don't know if you've ever heard of Grandia.
I feel like I've mentioned Grandia, and I have played Grandia, but I also couldn't finish it. I don't remember why, and I don't remember when. I don't remember how far I made it. It's been a long time.
I think it's a similar thing to a lot of people's favorite television show. Like for me, it's The Office. There's like all this nostalgia, but it's also really good.
Yeah.
So nothing will ever top it for me. Nothing's ever going to dethrone that game. I played it when I was in 8th grade for the first time, I remember. And I loved it. I just loved it. Loved every part of it. And it's well written in a slew of JRPGs at PS1 that are weird. Have weird storylines. Yes. If you never played Final Fantasy VIII, you don't like weird storylines that make no sense. That game is really great. I love it. It's also musically is the best soundtrack ever. Even the start screen music is great. So
all right, I'm gonna have
Grandia
to go back
is my
and
favorite
listen
game
to
ever.
it.
So
I feel like part of my problem is because I have so much love for Final Fantasy VII, and I'm actually kind of the same way with Hollow Knight. Because I have so much love for those games, I compare every other game to them, and if they don't meet that criteria, I'm automatically like, oh, well, I just don't like the game. I think that was my problem with Grandia, was I think when I played Grandia, I was like, well, this isn't Final Fantasy VII. And I compared it all to Final Fantasy VII.
It's definitely not that.
And even 9, I was like, well, it's not Final Fantasy VII. Well, no, it's not. It's a totally different game. Get it together.
Right.
Yeah. So I realize that is in my own head, and that's not the dev's fault. So, top 5 games. Those are some great games. I've never heard of Fable, but you have 2 Final Fantasies on there.
Yeah. Yes. And on my list, Final Fantasy 14 would be 6. So on my top 10, I have 3 Final Fantasies. So I have a lot of work to do regarding Final Fantasy because I've only ever played and finished 7. Okay, so my next question is, which video game, and it doesn't necessarily have to be one, if you have a few, that's fine, but which video game has impacted you the most? Okay, well, I have 3.
Awesome.
I'm going to get 3.
Lay them on me.
So we're talking about Final Fantasy, so I put Final Fantasy the series.
Okay, so like the entire franchise.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I don't know. We talked a lot about it, so I won't drone on. But anyway, I wish younger gamers could understand just sort of the magic of what the series used to be, or at least back in the PS1 days. They always would push the envelope, and they would try new things, and they would come back always bigger and more imaginative and just crazier with each new installment. And you knew they were going to be these big, long games that have these big, larger-than-life moments.
Yeah.
And there was so much content.
Sagas.
Yeah. And they were in these giant cases that were 4 discs long.
Yes. They were like all cutscenes.
Huge. I miss those big cases because they were, I don't know.
There was something really exciting about that. I get that. Yeah. I remember seeing Final Fantasy VII and being like, there are 3 discs? Pretty sure the entire end of the entire 3rd disc is the end cutscene and the credits, pretty much.
Yes.
That's pretty much it.
That's a lot of them. A lot of them, you get most of your content in the first 2 discs, but yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, but I do remember there's something about those big chunky cases where you're just, you're in for a really great story. You just know you're in. It's awesome.
I think today, I complain a lot about the games today. I probably shouldn't, but I think the games today are more spiritual successors to Kingdom Hearts than this era of gaming that I grew up with. So these Final Fantasy games.
Oh, you mean Final Fantasy. You don't mean games in general. You mean these Final Fantasy games.
Like Final Fantasy 16 and Final Fantasy 15 are more of spiritual successor to Kingdom Hearts than the games that I grew up with. And that makes sense because it's mostly the Kingdom Hearts directors who are doing them.
Yes.
So I would say if you grew up with me and with these games and you didn't play games for forever and you're like, well, I should go back to Final Fantasy, I don't think that you would find the same thing today.
That makes sense.
And I know that people love 16, but it's just not, to me, in the 90s, they were always RPGs first, not hack and slash games first. They were not, I think they had Final Fantasy Origins. It was a Souls-like game that came out a little bit before that. So I don't know if you always get that, which kind of works me. I think you just always knew that was going to happen.
Soft get bought out or whatever. So it did. It changed.
They merged with Enix.
Yes.
So now it's Square Enix, but it was Squaresoft back.
Okay.
But so Final Fantasy, for me, 14 games long. I think the series now just has lost me. So I think a lot of other smaller studios are doing a good job of bringing sort of the feel that I used to like, and the games that 7, 8, 9, and even the Super Nintendo games, which are also very good. Bringing those back into the forefront. Okay,
so Final Fantasy is like 14 games impacted you.
That's what, at least that's the ones I love. So, all right, so Final Fantasy is great. We've established that to death. Then I put Grandia again. Grandia is my favorite game.
Okay.
I love Grandia because I think it's super well written. I think it's like the perfect game for me. I love the music. The music is perfect. I actually did a study of, I can't remember the name of it, one of the Grandia songs that I had in college. It was the main theme. Anyway, the music's really good.
So Grandia's number 2.
But Grandia, and then Smash Brothers is my third.
Really?
And Smash Brothers has sort of grown up with me in ways, because I remember friends would get together, we'd play Smash Brothers. We played Smash Brothers 64, and then we got a little older, and then we played Smash Brothers Melee.
Yeah.
And then we got a little older, and we played the next one. And I've gone through the ringer with that game. It's been the only fighting game I've liked. And
I'm terrible at that game. It's so bad.
And I tried to play it and try to get good at the last one that came out, Ultimate.
Yeah.
And anyway, I had fun with it too. I haven't played it.
That's
forever
one of those
now,
games that will never go away. Like that and Mario Kart.
Never.
Like it'll just never ever go away. Super Smash Brothers I don't ever see going away, and Mario Kart I don't ever see going away. So I know a lot of great memories are made with those games though.
Oh yeah.
My sister bought Super Smash Brothers, and we play it sometimes when my siblings come out. But I can certainly understand the memories that are made playing games like that. So whatever the game is, whether it's Bomberman or Super Smash Brothers or whatever, I can absolutely appreciate getting together with friends and just making really great memories. And I think that's wonderful.
Yeah,
it's
been it's been the social game between me and my friends growing up.
Can you play online now? Like, can you play from okay. So those are the 3 games that have impacted you the most. One of them is
I would say so.
Okay. I love that.
Yeah.
No, but that's fine because I've had other interviews say, well, that's hard. That's hard to pick. I totally get that. So franchises, video games, whatever. Okay. So here's my next question. Have any games made you cry?
No. Here's the thing. I am
dead inside. No,
I'm a big movie guy. Yeah. Very dark. Just no emotion.
You're a movie guy.
Just look at I'm a movie guy. Yeah. just look at Misery and just no reaction. No. I watch a lot of movies, so there's bound to be some sad scenes that come up time to time, and I don't know, I've just never outwardly done my emotions that much. So I don't know. I just don't cry at video games or movies much at all. Or I can't remember crying to either one ever.
Ever? Even with all the movies you've watched?
Mm-mm.
What is that like?
No.
I can't.
I don't know.
I can't.
The closest I can get to it
please. Close as you can get.
Yeah, so, and there's been other moments like this too, but in college, I have a really good friend of mine, the guy I did a podcast with for years and years, did a movie podcast with. We would talk all the time, but we would talk Halo 3 and Halo Reach.
Okay.
Went years without playing those games. Just forgot about it. We played it quite a bit. We would talk all the time, and we'd play those games while we talked and while we just kind of hung out online. Because I was in Virginia, he was still here in Kentucky, and they came out with Halo. It might be the Legendary Edition I'm talking about. Anyway, it has like all of them. It has like Halo 1, 2, 3, and you can play online with them. And I think we played Halo Reach online. And it was like, holy crap. I haven't seen this map or played this game with you in like 10 years, man.
Yeah.
I remember, and it's weird because when we played it, it was like the biggest game in the world.
Yeah.
I remember when everyone would play, or I remember watching the Halo 3 servers go offline. I'm like, man, I remember when there was just so many players online all the time, and now it's gone. And so you get sad that time has passed a little bit, but you remember. So that I felt feels for that, because I felt a little nostalgic, and we had fun with it, and the fact that its time has passed, even though it's good, it was still fun. So I felt a little sad, but I didn't cry.
I love that though, because that was a big part of your life, and I feel like that's another one that will probably never go away, is Halo. I feel like Halo kind of changed the gaming industry or the game world forever, and I don't think that will ever go away either. But it brought a lot of people together. Lots of people together. Well, the whole reason I started doing this podcast type show was because somebody gave me a hard time for crying over a video game. So I'm trying to prove that I am not the only one. But that's okay.
Yeah, you cry for both of us, Seuss. Cry for me, because I don't.
There were definitely enough tears in Tears of the Kingdom.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. That's okay. I mean, that's just it. Like, this is proof that video games affect certain people. They affect people one way and they affect people another, and there is no right or wrong way to enjoy a game. And it doesn't matter what anybody says in your chat if you're streaming, or your friends or whatever. You play games the way you want to play them, and don't let anybody tell you how to enjoy something. Like, just let people enjoy things,
like
man.
what you like.
Yeah, what the heck,
what
man.
you enjoy. I think as you get older, you realize how important that is more.
Yeah.
Because when you're a kid, you're like, sometimes if you like something that you think people would judge you for, you don't talk about it.
Yes.
But now it's like, man, if you like it,
then whatever.
Then enjoy it.
So my next question is, this is my last question for you tonight.
Okay.
Why do you like playing video games?
All right. Well, this is an interesting question for me. I think as a kid, video games is sort of where I got my fantasy, my imagination, my fix for a lot of that. Mm-hmm. And I got to do that because it was a medium that my parents did not understand. They didn't know what to think of them. So I could get away with some of that. They didn't want me to read fantasy books. They didn't want me to, over fear of like demonic, or the word Wicca got thrown around in my household. And my parents were not super strict, but they were randomly strict about some of these things. Luckily, they knew nothing about video games. So instead of, I eventually got to read a lot of these books. So instead of all that, I played the Final Fantasies and Grandia and Lufia and Chrono Trigger and that was sort of my fantasy fix, and also just having fun with it and all that. But today, I don't play games as much. Today, now it's more of a chance for me to be entertained or nostalgic or to hang out with friends is mainly the way they are. They don't play as big a role in my life, but I don't adhere to the concerns that my parents had. So now I do get to read my books, and I do get to enjoy all those things. And so as an adult, I've had to catch up on all these things. So I don't need games for that as much anymore. And you know something about that because you write and you read, which I think is really, really great.
I haven't written in a really long time, but the ideas are there.
You should.
They will someday.
Yeah.
Someday. All right. Someday.
I've really fallen in love with writing the past several years. So and reading too. So that has sort of, but so bringing that into my life has so now I like them is very different than when I was a kid, and that's okay.
Yeah.
I don't play them. I don't know. I played a little bit yesterday. It was the first time I played in a week. That's very common for me now. So I don't know, I do it for entertainment. I do it for competition. And
wait, competition?
I like to play competitive with friends.
Oh,
or
okay.
Like we
play
play
Are you like
Overwatch
playing
or
competitive games without telling any of us?
No.
So like Super Smash Brothers or things like that.
Yeah. I think I'll always play them to some extent because they were so important to me as a kid, and I have such warm, fuzzy feelings for certain games and certain kinds of games and all that. But yeah, so they're less so now.
And that's okay. That's totally
that's okay.
Fine. That is why you play video games.
That is why I play them, yeah. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Susie.
It's been very interesting learning your video game backstory. All your different backstories and like what.
It's been interesting, like revisiting it as I worked through my little notes. Like, oh yeah,
I remember that. Oh, I love it. Well, I appreciate it, and thank you for being here. Yeah. And thank you guys for watching. Appreciate it. We'll see you next time.
Yeah.